you've gone from almost like I think you used the word the elation of being in the final round of the Open Championship, and then I guess your game went through a relatively quiet period following that, and then along comes 1999, and I guess 99 to 2002 you have another one of those periods that you described earlier where you got it incredibly hot. You won the Johnny Walker Classic, you won the Heineken Classic a few times during that era, but I guess now that the event I want to focus on is, of course, back here at Paraparaumu Beach, the spiritual home of New Zealand golf.
Absolutely.
Where you were teeing it up in another New Zealand Open. So I know it was 20 years ago, Michael, but it is an event that you won, and I hope it's still dear to your heart. Give us some thoughts. Give us some thoughts leading into the event, and you were coming off some success, like I mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, once again on this run of momentum. I just won, I think, the Johnny Walker Classic. Just beat Tiger by a couple of shots there, which gave me a lot of confidence.
Yep.
I think, and then I played New Zealand Open. So once again, I was going into that event full of confidence. Just beat Tiger. That's pretty damn good. So, I really can't remember the first 3 rounds, but I can remember the last probably 6 holes, 7 holes, but birdie pretty much most of them.
So Craig Perks leads going into the last round, and I think he'd been away at university and perhaps playing his golf outside of the country. So I was at the 2000 event, and again, it's another one of those moments that will be etched in my mind forever. You stand up on the 12th tee, and you go on one of these runs that only Michael Campbell can go on, and you birdie 5 out of the last 7 holes to be the clubhouse leader, and all of a sudden Craig, who's gone from looking relatively comfortable, is now chasing you to make that playoff. Talk us through those holes. I mean, you sunk some bombs. I remember the one on 13. I've got the pin placement sheet. It was right up the heart of the green. 15 was another one. It was about a 20-meter putt. They were big putts.
Well, Leo, I mean, thanks for reminding me. I remember the one on 15. That's for sure. That was a massive putt. The pin was back left, I think it was.
Back left. Yep.
I was front. I was front.
Yep.
And it was going in hard too, wasn't it? It was going pretty hard. I think
13 was going in hard as well.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where things fell my way. As I said before, to win a golf tournament, any golf tournament, whether it's a major or particularly a major, but in a regular event, you need a lot of things go your way, like your bounces, things like if I missed that putt on 15, it would have been like probably 5 foot past my 1-3 putted.
Yeah. So
you just don't know, do you?
So yeah, I mean, you make the playoff with Craig, and in those days it was play the 18th. So you go back to the 18th, and you talk us through the play. Can you remember the playoff? You both birdie the first with 4s.
That's right. Yeah. I remember. Oh yeah. Now I remember the second playoff one. Yeah, I had a really nice shot off a side hill lie. It was a horrible lie. Down. I had a 4-iron second shot. And it was downhill, ball below my feet, and I hit this little bullet to probably about 15, 20 feet maybe, and hold it for eagle, I think. Is that right?
Hold it for eagle, yeah. So
yeah.
In the end, you had 2 playoff holes and 1 regular hole. You went birdie, eagle after birding 5 of the last 7 holes. I mean, it was possibly the greatest live golf I've seen, and it was an absolute privilege to actually be there and see it go in. So something, like I said, etched in my memory.
Well, can I say something, Leo?
I've
won, I think, 15 times around the world, or 16 times around the world. And obviously, my number one favorite one is the major US Open. Second one, definitely New Zealand Open. I mean, to win close to my second home golf course, I was brought up playing golf at Paraparaumu and winning in front of my family. My friends, that's definitely what I think emotionally it's number one.
Yeah.
But obviously the US Open is even more special.
Actually, I spoke to Michael Long this morning, and he actually spoke about the emotion that hit him when he played his final shot to the 18th green, and he allowed himself to relax and enjoy. And he said, he was playing around the world as well, and he hadn't quite felt or realised what that home crowd would feel like until he struck that shot on and was able to enjoy the.
Oh, it's hard to explain as a player because yes, you're there experiencing and soaking up all the atmosphere of your home countrymen supporting you, and it just adds a new dimension to your game. This is what Tiger feeds off. It's all the best players feed off. The adulation and the applause from the crowd gets you going. It's that adrenaline rush, and that's what it is. I mean, I remember. As you witnessed before, that I can't remember that, but because I was so into the whole final round, I can't remember half my shots because it's just the way I operate sometimes, And but all you need is some sort of jolting or poke, and it kind of brings back all the memories, all the emotions.
A rather generous person has somehow taken it off a VCR and has put it up on YouTube. So I'll send that link to you.
Oh, really?
Following the interview.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. It's a bit of a bootleg.
Yes,
it's a bit of a bootleg copy, but you'll see some of those things I've just discussed. Yeah.
Oh, great! Yeah, fantastic.
Hey, so move forward to 2002. The Open's back at Paraparaumu Beach, and I guess it's known as the Tiger Open, even though Tiger finished 5th or 6th, I think. There was a lot of fanfare around. I mean, the level of everything, I guess, went up a notch. But there was Michael Campbell again, there and thereabouts, as you were so often in New Zealand Opens, coming down the stretch. How's your memory going on 2002?
Well, mate, come on, now you're really testing it. I think I had did Craig Parry win that?
Craig Parry won it on 17 again. You had a.
Oh yeah, I had a short. Yeah, I missed a short par putt, didn't I?
Yeah.
And then I 3-putted from about 3 feet.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah.
And then, but I remember my second shot into the last hole was to about 15 feet for eagle.
Oh, it gave it a great chance. Yeah, to make the playoff.
Yeah. So I was pretty disappointed with that. Not to win it twice because winning the Open a home championship is definitely thing you can't really describe how good it feels.
Yep. So let's talk about 2005 now. Your game was possibly not quite at the level that you'd wanted it to be for a couple of years prior. You started that season missing the first 5 cuts. You had to go to a regional, a qualifying for the US Open. You made a birdie putt on the last, and all of a sudden you're off to Pinehurst.
Well, once again, it's amazing because I look at missing those first 5 cuts in a row as a blessing in disguise. Yep. You can look at it two different ways. When I'm faced with adversity, I try and use that to become a better player. So, yes, you're right. First 5 weeks, missed the cut. I said to my coach, I have to come and see you, mate. This is ridiculous. I'm shooting 80s. And so I went to America for 4 weeks and with Jonathan, and we found this golden nugget, this swing thought, and all of a sudden it was like, wow, this is cool. I can't remember what it was. Something to do with my backswing. It'll come to me. So I go back to Europe, finish top 10, after missing 5 cuts in a row, then top 5, and so then I think another top 5. I finished like 3rd at the BMW Championship at Wentworth. So I was like, oh, I'm ready to go. So I finished 10th the next week. So a nice little run. Once again, I'm in this little run of doing all these wonderful things. And so it was the first time the USGA had an international qualifying ever. And lucky enough, it was only about a 45-minute drive from my house, from Brighton in London. So I get there at 7:30 in the morning. I'm paired with Steve Webster. I'm going and playing. And after the first round, we knew that -4 was going to make the cut. So we both, I'll never forget this, playing the last hole, both 3 under, playing the last hole. And Webby hits it to like 10 feet. I hit it to like 9 feet on the same line as him. I had to move my marker, right? Yeah. So he aims right edge, he misses. I move my marker back and aimed inside right and hold the putt. And I was the last person to qualify.
Right.
So once again, things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I missed those 5 cuts in a row. I had to work on my game more. There's a reason why that I hit 9 feet inside Steve Webster. It's kind of spooky, but that's the way it is. So yeah, anyway, so fast forward, I go to America, feeling pretty good about myself, but my game, my ball striking was fantastic, but my putting was a little bit iffy. So Monday, I decided to get a belly putter because I was so desperate. Putting it's okay, but it wasn't good enough to win a tournament.
Yep.
So I got a belly putter, and my coach, Jonathan, turns up. Right, he goes, "What the hell are you doing there, Michael?" He says, "Give it to me." So I gave it to him. He threw it in the bin. So he goes, "Come with me." So we went to a different golf course, about a 20-minute drive from Pinehurst, called Pine Valley, which is a great idea. Away from the circus, it was just quiet, just him and I on the putting green. We worked for 2 hours, 3 hours on the putting, and once again we found this golden nugget, my putting. So going into the week, I was feeling really, really good. I mean, I said to myself, okay, top 10 in a major, I'll be happy. Especially from where I had been at the start of the year, missing 5 cuts in a row, and all of a sudden, 6 months later, I'm in the hunt for winning a major. So that's what I love about this game. It can change so quickly, within months, within weeks. It can change very quickly. So, first 2 rounds, I'm doing okay, top 15, top 20. And I said to myself, okay, top 5. So this is the Friday night. So top 5, I said to myself, okay, because I love my cars. I said, if I reach top 5 this week's US Open, I'll buy myself a Porsche. So what I did, I wrote 911 on my golf ball for the weekend as an incentive. So I was playing a game within the game. I was focusing on the smaller game, which is the Porsche, and then obviously the bigger picture was the US Open.
Yeah.
So 3rd round, I played nicely again, and now I'm like 7th or 5th or something. So I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. Our Porsche is looking pretty good, but you need to play, 18 holes tomorrow. So I'm in the players' lounge, and Retief is leading by 4 shots. He's defending champion. I kind of said to myself, okay, he's going to win this. I'll probably finish, top 5. I'm 5th. I'm happy. So I was very content with top 5. And then we had lunch together. We were really good mates. We're talking about families and the kids, and talking about car seats, about just normal stuff, as mates do. So I leave and tee off, and he's playing behind me actually, and so I birdied the first hole, and it was a great start. And then after 5 holes or 6 holes, I'm leading, thinking, what happened to Goose? What happened to Retief? He double bogey. So all of a sudden I'm leading by 1-2 shots, and guess who's right behind me is Tiger. So I'm thinking, this is going to be fun. So I didn't see it as a threat. I saw it as fun. It's a fight or flight. You run towards trouble or run away from trouble. And I thought to myself, no, just enjoy the moment. And and the rest is history, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because again, like most New Zealanders, this was happening probably about 10 or 11 in the morning, around that mid morning, and all of a sudden, Michael Campbell hits the lead of the US Open. My goodness, this is happening, and we're all scrambling for TVs. I was at Mount Maunganui at the time, and next thing we're in the ute. We're going to my 2IC's house, and we're all engaged, and we're watching that back 9. And I understand that was pretty much the theme right throughout the country, is that people were coming out of offices and finding somewhere to win. And
because I've had so many stories from a lot of people, friends of mine, complete strangers, kids who now are older. I've met some of the All Blacks who were still at school then. We didn't go to school; they stayed at home because they want to watch me play or win the US Open. So I've had so many stories like that. It's wonderful to see that how a sport, any sport, can bring everyone together.
And I guess it was it was amazing for golf through that period as well. I mean, memberships were spiking, interests were up. You know, kids wanted to play the sport. It was fantastic. We had someone that was sitting on top of the world, and I guess someone that everyone wanted to aspire towards. So it was a real peak for New Zealand golf, and a culmination, I guess, perhaps of guys like Grant Clements way back, and a whole lot of other individuals that had laid their hands on your career over the time, and there you was. It was you got yourself.
Well, that's the reason why I came back. I came back a month after I won. My manager said to me, "Are you crazy?" I said, "No, I want to do this." Because I said to him, "I want to share my success with my people, and it's to prove to people, to these young kids, if I can do it, so can they." That was the thing. I remember in my speech, I think you probably heard me say that, if I can do it, so can you, sort of thing. And I really meant that. So I spent, I think, 10 days back home in between tournaments.
Yeah.
I had to rush back to America again, and put together this itinerary around the world, around New Zealand, to go different parts of New Zealand. Went down to Queenstown, through up to Auckland, ticker tape parade through Wellington, all these wonderful things. And it wasn't for my own publicity. And I didn't need that. I wanted to inspire and say to these kids that, if I can do it, so can you. As simple as that. Yeah. That's the reason why I went back home.